So I've been seeing this amongst the gaming community. I had high regards for Highguard, and I'm actually disappointed to see this because this tells us a lot about the gaming community. When people try to do something different, it's like looked down upon. Yeah, I know I've read some things where this guy, it was like the last game to be announced in the gaming awards, and some dude hyped it up. People didn't like that. It was like overly hyped is what people say. But aside from that, you need to get your emotions out of it and at least try the game. I personally enjoyed it. I did make a video about it, and I continued to play it off content because I actually did enjoy the game. But my personal, likes and dislikes doesn't affect the totality of the game. I can't save the game by itself. You need money to run a game. But with that said, I wanted to read this. It's on Twitter, on the Highguard official Twitter page. It states, Highguard's final update arriving soon. Thank you for playing with us. Let me take this off, actually. And it reads right here, today we're sharing difficult news. We have made the decision to permanently shut down Highguard on March 12th. Since launch, more than 2 million players stepped into Highguard's world. You shared feedback, created content, and many believed in what we were building. For that, we are deeply grateful. Despite the passion and hard work of our team, we have not been able to build a sustainable player base to support the game long term. Servers will remain online until March 12th. We hope you'll jump in with us one more time to show your support and get those final great matches in while we still can. Okay. The team is excited to release one final game update to enjoy in the remaining life of the game. We'll be adding a new warden, a new weapon, account level progression, and skills trees. Full patch notes are coming, and we're targeting tonight or tomorrow morning for patch release. From all of us at Wildlight, thank you for playing, for supporting us, and for being part of Highguard's story. What this tells me is that, let's read the comments. Sources tell me Highguard is stable, please God. Any mention of refunding people who made purchase their skins or are just going to be scamming them? Bro, you decided to put money in there, right? Like, I understand the feeling where you invest into something and then all of a sudden you don't get nothing back. That's the risk you're willing to take. This is what business is about. You can't, when you spend money on something, you can't ask for it back. Just consider it gone, And then let's go back. They posted more 4 hours ago. This is the farewell tour, account progression and skill tree. A new warden and weapon coming today 4 p.m. So they're still releasing updates. What is this? Raid Rush. This patch should be live today at 4 p.m. Yeah, they've added, I wanted to see. So this one says, from PC Gamer, Highguard's failure is emblematic of something that has tormented video game investors for years from now. Past live service hits do not equal future live service hits. Another live service game is heading to the graveyard. Will the industry keep trying? Please, PC Gamer, do not copyright me. Every time a game like Highguard creators, we collectively wonder why the game's industry keeps chasing huge live service hits when so many of them utterly fail. The obvious answer is that, well, sometimes you do end up with a Helldivers 2 and you make hundreds of millions of dollars and everyone thinks you're really smart. But clearly those bets are enormously risky, and one of the reasons they're so risky is a reality of today's games biz that has been tormenting executives investors for years now. At least when it comes to live service games, past hits do not seem to be a good indicator of future hits at all. For the past month, I've been hearing grievances from headline-only readers about my statement that Highguard didn't flop, and it serves me right for trying to be clever, but what I pointed out beneath that headline, which I meant as a rhetorical jab, not a flat denial of reality, is that very few new shooters achieve the kind of instant hit status that Highguard needed to do in order to keep the studio afloat. See, look, one thing I don't understand is people complain about games seeming repetitive. But when there's games that try new things, people hate on it. So what makes you think that people want to create games that are different, innovative? Why do you think people want to try something new? Because if they introduce something new, there's going to be a lot of hate to it, right? Unless they start paying influencers or streamers and gamers to talk good about the game, even if they don't like it, you know? Because we've seen this many times that streamers would play a game on stream because they're sponsored, it's a brand deal, etc., and then they stop playing it altogether. And I know some streamers are like, "Oh, we only take up partnerships or sponsorships or brand deals if we agree with the game." But most of the time, that is not true. Okay, they want the money, and let's be real. And a lot of people don't want to. A lot of people stream to make the money, right? A lot of people play games and try to get brand deals and sponsorships because of the money. And there's not a lot of streamers or influencers that are actually genuine nowadays. There is a few. I know you guys could think of some. But most of the time, people do it for monetization or to monetize off of it. You know, there's games where people just lie about it, and then all of a sudden, they play it for a week or two. The game gets popular. The game builds a fan base, and then you guys get duped and actually scammed, right? So that's why a lot of investors or people that game creators, game developers, they don't want to try something new because without that high budget, without paying these streamers or gamers or influencers, the game is going to flop, bro, especially nowadays. And that's sad because I want to see something new. Like, people talk about the downfall of Conquered, or people are still talking about Marathon. They hated a lot on Highguard. I bet you a lot of them only played it a few times. Like, yeah, there's going to be a lot of games that need improvement, but there is no such thing as releasing a perfect game right away, because it takes a very, very long time to create these games. And that time frame that you're creating this game, the world can change. And that's what people don't understand. That's what I had to understand too, is that when you take time with something that you're passionate about, the time moves. It changes while you're making something. So while you're making something right now, it may not be acceptable, or, it might not hit 5 years from now, because these games, they take a long time. And then we have these people like, oh, AI. Oh, I hate AI slop. But bro, how else are people going to take up? How else are game developers or businesses going to keep up with time? Because time is of the essence. Time matters. You need to get things out fast. Because now, since we have TikTok brain, we have low attention spans. We want to be, you know what I'm saying? People want to have that dopamine hit or that shock value right away. So that's why I gave Highguard a chance, because it's new. It's some 3v3 raid. There's a loot. There's like obviously there was things that could change, right? But there is no perfect game, bro. But let me stop yapping and keep reading this article. As indicated by the reporting that has happened since studio leaders hoped they could repeat the success of Apex Legends, which many of Highguard's developers worked on. And if you were an investor hoping for a big service hit, why wouldn't you back a project from people who previously made a big live service hit? But it doesn't seem to work that way. Experience obviously matters in game development as in craft, but quality isn't really the issue here. Highguard is fine, or so I'm told, but they specifically needed a hit, and no one knows how to manufacture those. Just the other day, Riot Games, one of the most successful developers in existence, laid off a big portion of dev team for its fighting game 2XKO, which was developed with input from some of the world's foremost experts in the genre, yet clearly hasn't attracted the audience Riot desired or expected. Even Valve, working with Magic the Gathering designer Richard Garfield and in full control of Steam, inarguably the centerpiece of gaming, couldn't sustain a card game. Huh? Oh, on PC? Oh, I didn't know that. Like one of the biggest trading card game, it might be arguably the biggest, couldn't make a hit game? I mean, because people want that, like the physical, I feel it. Which perhaps explains why it's taken such a slow, cautious approach with its latest game, Deadlock. Wait, what? MTG has Deadlock MTG owns Deadlock? What? How long is this article? Okay, we have a little bit more. This is gonna go, dude. So what are the big players in the games industry to do when even their best bets lead to millions in losses? Well, every 6 months or so, a game like Peak, whose development began at a game jam, climbs to the top of the Steam charts. In a lot of cases, they are just giving up. The frenzy of early pandemic investment has led to some infamous flops like Conquered and Highguard, but also dozens of games that never got a chance to flop or succeed. We'll never know. In 2024, for instance, Microsoft canceled a big survival game that was in development at Blizzard, and last year canceled an MMO that was in development at ZeniMax. More recently, NetEase pulled funding from a bunch of Western studios, causing the cancellation of Warhammer MMO and MMO from former WoW designer Greg Street, XCOM designer Jake Solomon's live sim. Man, what the? Was also recently canceled. That barely scratches the surface. Beyond that rash of cancellations and layoffs, which is probably not over, the future of the industry is still hazy. It's hard to glean much from the new Xbox boss's comments about focusing on core Xbox fans and players, and we'll have to wait and see how the RAM crisis plays out alongside the rise and perhaps fall of generative AI investments. I think we'll start to get hints of what's ahead of us, or what's ahead relatively soon, though as the last of the big pandemic swings succeed, fail catastrophically, or are canceled, and investments made after the word metaverse mercifully dropped out of everyday speech, which from what I've been hearing from indie devs are hard to come by, start to bear fruit. This was written by Tyler Wilde. Okay. Well, so my final thoughts on this, bro, is that we have to give games a chance. So I know this guy right here, Geoff Keighley. Let's look at the latest news. Guys, I'm worried about him. Look, man, I'm just going to say this. Those who have the biggest or have the most opinions have never created anything in their life. They're just sitting back and criticizing other people that create, that innovate, that come up with something new. And I know that people say like, oh, Highguard was just like Apex. Well, guess what? A lot of game developers worked with Apex Legends. And everything that you see in the world is influenced by something else. And that's what people need to understand. Like, oh, that's a copycat. Bruh, where do you think phones come up with ideas? Like, phone companies. Where do you think water bottles, like, oh, there's a water bottle, I can make it better. Bro, like, it's crazy to me, man. Like, streamers killed Highguard, toxic gamers killed Highguard. People wanted the game to fail from the jump. If you all liked it so much, bro, we tried our best. Like, we tried, man. Like, I made a video on it. I truly loved it. Right here. I actually really like this game, dog. Oh, this quality is booty. Yeah, I'm not signed on to my actual. Like, look at this, bro. Yeah, like, this game had so much potential. So if you guys didn't know, there's this game called ew, why is it lagging? But yeah, anyway, man, that's what it is. Highguard is officially closing its servers on March 12th. I'm kind of sad, but yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys subscribe, like the video. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be cooking, and cooking more.